Hey everyone, Alison here from Ladner Village Arts and Crafts, and I've got another Make It Monday sort of project inspiration for you. And I'm starting with this cut file, which is from the same Paige Evans summer cut file series that I have already featured on a few videos lately. And it's these bees, and they have, which you probably can't see, they've got like trails, and my plan is to stitch those trails with some gray embroidery thread, and then I am going to be scrapbooking a photo of my daughter and her grade 7 teachers, and they are she was a holly hornet, so I thought the bees were kind of appropriate. Not hornets, but friendlier, right? To back it, I have got a piece of very, very old Jen Hadfield, I think it's from the Pebbles collection. Patio Party, Jen Hadfield homemade. Oh, it's American Crafts, but it's like super old. I don't even know what year this was. I'm trying to look for a year on this, but I don't see one. It's been in my stash a long time, and it was part of the kit that I put together, my Counterfeit Kit Kit, whatever. So yeah, so I'm gonna back the cut file with that. I have trimmed down the cut file. It was on a 12 by 12 piece of paper, but I've trimmed it down just slightly so I get that slight border around there. And then my other plan is I've got these inserts, and I want to sort of have them popped up a bit, which is going to be a little tricky because I want to see if I can back the wings with this specialty paper from Vicky Bouton's, I can't remember which collection this was. It's about a year old, I put it that way. But I thought that would be kind of fun behind the wings, and then I can see if I can maybe put some pop dots just behind the cut file there, just to pop them up a little bit from the page, give it some interest. I also want to treat the front of these with maybe some distress oxides. I'm struggling a little bit with color because her one teacher has a very, very bossy green shirt on, and I could maybe have put this all into black and white, but I'm just trying to deal with it. But yeah, so it's a little distracting, but I want to treat these with a little bit of color. Like I said, some distress oxides, maybe spray them with some gold mist, that sort of thing. So we'll see. But first, the stitching. So I'm going to flip it over, mostly because I can see the holes a little better from this side. I think this is actually sort of the front, but I accidentally sprayed it with, I don't even know what that is. And the pink is not working for me on the layout. So this is going to be my back side, and I will just start my stitching from this side. So very, very simple. I'm just going to follow these holes. I've got a very, very long piece of gray embroidery thread. I think what I will do is take a little bit of, actually I'll use the narrow one. This is a Spellbinders tape that we brought into the store, that I have been using when I'm doing my die cutting. It just helps hold my die cuts in place. It's kind of low tack, so it won't rip the paper when you pull it off, but it will also just hold it in place. So I'm going to go down and up, down and up. Very, very simple. And I'm just trying to decide if I want to skip or do kind of oh shoot, I just unthreaded my needle. I did not want to do that. So I'm trying to decide if I want to have like a gap. So if I demonstrate here, if I want them to be like that, or it's a little tricky when you're using such a long thread, or if I want to have them sort of butted up next to each other, and I think that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, so that involves you go in through one and then you take it back. It's probably like a formal name for this stitch. I'm gonna call it a back stitch. Maybe that's what it's called. I have no idea. Okay, so I'm gonna keep fighting with this, and when I come back, it will all be stitched. Okay, I'm back and I've got all my stitching done. Now, I cheated, and there's a couple reasons for that. One, the major reason was because I did not have enough gray embroidery thread to do all of the stitching. So I sort of, once I realized I was going to run out, I picked where I wanted the thread to go, and then the rest of it I just filled in with a pen. And it's kind of messy. I'm not really worried about that. It just kind of adds to the homemade aspect of it. And then I also ended up pricking my fingers. There's a little bit of blood on there. So that's just pretty much decided where my photo's gonna go. I would definitely want to mat this with something, and I will take a look for that. But the other thing I wanted to talk about was the bees. So I have gone ahead and put that special vellum behind, and some of them need trimming, so I will do that. But I just wanted to show you real quick how I did it. I basically turned the bee over onto the vellum, and here's the remainder of the vellum, onto the back side of the vellum, and I traced with a pencil around the outside of one of the wings. And then I cut it out and trimmed it until it fit. And that gave me something like this. And then I took this and I just traced around it. I think I have 8 bees, so 8 times. And then I flipped it over because they are identical, traced around it 8 more times, and then cut those out, glued them on, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, they're not necessarily a perfect fit. As you can see there, I have to trim this. That's okay. Easy enough to do, especially once it's glued down. And I just used my normal liquid adhesive, which I love this stuff. The Nouveau Deluxe adhesive. And little dots on the back, and then I actually put them underneath an acrylic block for a couple of minutes, just until the glue set. And that was all it took. So I'll just quickly trim off the rest of these, and then we can get started with the rest of it layout. The other thing that I was going to do that I completely forgot about until I was getting this ready for you guys was that I was gonna put some color on these beads. So I am gonna do that now. Now, to pick colors, I am definitely going to not emphasize the very bossy green of his shirt. I'm going to pick up some of the colors in her dress. That is going to be a sort of continuing motif, I guess you want to call it, through, I'm going to make an album for her like I have done for my other daughters. And seeing as the dress was is the sort of consistent piece throughout the whole day, that's what we are going to focus on. Sorry, I was just looking to see if I could find my little spritz bottle, but I can't. So I'm just going to use a brush to kind of create some paint, as it were. So I'm using dried marigold and saltwater taffy. And then I'm going to take some plastic. And this is basically a Ziploc bag that I have cut up. And I'm going to kind of scrunch it, dab it in the ink, and then splotch that on there very imperfectly. And we'll do, I have 8 bees, so we'll do 4 in the dried marigold and 4 in the saltwater taffy. Some of these are going to be behind the photo, and I know that, but that's okay. Sometimes you put in a lot of work to do some fun, techniques, or to use a lot of different papers that you've got in your stash, and you cover them up, and it might seem like a waste, but I promise you it's not, because they're in there, and even if a little bit of it is poking out, it will have the emphasis that you want it to. Okay, so now I'm going to let those dry a little bit, and while those are drying, so I'm going to move them off my mat so that I can pull the rest of my layout in here. I can glue down my die cut piece, and you can see how messy I was in the back there. And I'm going to use my favorite double-sided tape. And I'm definitely using more on this than I would normally use on, like, if I was to doing a layered look like this. But I really don't want it to move. And I want this to be quite flat against the background. And then I am going to still try and pop up those bees a little bit. Trying to figure out how that is going to work. So we'll see if I can make it work. So I find it easiest if I've got a big, 12 by 12 canvas like this to glue down. The easiest way to get it somewhat centered is to just take off the backing from one side, and then I line up the other 3 sides and stick down that one side, and then when I can come back, take off the backing from the other sides. It's pretty centered. Okay, let's look at this photo and see what kind of background papers we can find for it. And I'm kind of using my, sorry, I'm moving the camera there. I'm using this kit that I put together for a challenge over on the ScrapHappy blog, and I'll put a link to my post there. And it's to basically kind of copy a scrapbooking kit. It's called the Counterfeit Kit Club, and this is the kit that I put together. So I've got a variety of, got some Pink Fresh, which is new. I've got some older Maggie Holmes, some really old, I don't even know what that one's for because the branding strip's off. I've got some really old Chanel, a box of crayons. Got some Simple Stories, just some basic wood grain. Some 49th and Market. And then this Simple Stories. I wonder if any of these cutter parts would work for me. Maybe. I'll keep it handy. And then this is from a super old kit that I used to get called Gossamer Blue. That side might work. It's got some good colors on it. I loved my Gossamer Blue kit, but they are no longer. A ledger. That could work too. Okay, I'm gonna keep these ones out, and then I wanted to start with this one. And I just really like that stripe. I don't particularly want all this. I could hide it. I think I'll just use this as a layering bit. So let's just cut this bit out. Unearth my trimmer over here. I got so many things on top of it. Trying to see how far over I wanted it to go. I like those colors, and it'll bring out the colors that I've put into the bees. And I could use this bit underneath even. Ooh, this side is cameras. Ooh, that could work. Okay, I'm gonna keep that handy as well because that could work for some embellishments. And then maybe just a strip of this. I'm gonna start with 2 inches and see how that is. Doesn't bring in that green. Okay, there's a green filled arrow on here that I was hoping to grab. So now I have, so it's like 2 3/4 inches if you're following along. I definitely don't need it the whole width. Let's trim it there and where? In fact, I might have the green on that side because then I've got green and green. Before I adhere any of this to the layout, I'm gonna kind of build the mat, and then adhere it to the layout. Because I want to get my bees in first. So I'm gonna offset that and offset this. here's my green. Let's try to get that somewhat straight, shall we? Oh, this is where using a permanent tape. It's not so good. Okay. That's better. Okay. Now, how dry are my bees? Somewhat. So adhering them is going to be a bit of a challenge, and I still would like some of these wings to come up, but that might be something that I do sort of last. Okay, let's just try some liquid glue. And if my photos are going here, that one is completely covered. So I don't even think I'm going to put one in there, which means I could use it as an additional embellishment. So let's pick a pink one. And I'm just going to put the glue on the back in the middle where the bee's body is. And I'll just put a block there. Hold it for now. Pink. Let's put orange on there. This one's still got a fair amount of ink on it. Might have to actually mop that up. Oh, I was thinking these are all exactly the same, but apparently they're not. Aha. Of course, maybe it doesn't really matter. Who knows? Okay, pink up there. And orange over here, I think. Am I missing one somewhere? Oh, yes, orange one there. Okay. Pink. So to pop up the wings, I've got a couple of options. I've got a few strips left, and I can't remember where these are from. They might have been the ones that we carried in the store briefly. So I could put like a little bit under there, just sort of at the edges here. Let's give that a try, actually. Even smaller than that. Find the sticky bit. Yeah, I think that does work. Okay. Okay, so let's bring in my photo now. I think it's safe to do so. And we need title, we need a place for some words to be written. So I was thinking maybe one of these would be good for some words. But I've got that option. I've also got in my kit, this is like super old. Amy Tangerine came out with these, and we are going back a long way. Something like that could work. These are just little journaling tabs. Here, that one. Okay, I'll pull both of them out and see. The reason that I'm sort of rejecting this one is because it's not a bright white. A lot of Maggie Holmes stuff tends to be more of an antiqued white. Even this is not a bright white, but it's better. I could put it something like that. I can also, no, I didn't leave any sort of space to tuck it behind. Could do that. This is where I miss my tools. Working from 2 different locations, because I would really like my corner rounder to round those corners. So let's freehand and see where we get. Of course, I pulled this out for journaling, and now I'm just using it like a mat because I quite like it. I like the orange. I don't know if there's a ton of journaling that I want to say for this particular page. So maybe this one. Of course, I'm covering my B, aren't I? Nope, I don't want to cover my B. Okay, so of course my other option is to put that there and then have my B. I'm gonna put it there. Okay, we're gonna think about that. We're gonna think about that one. Let's find some title lettering. I've got several options in this kit that I pulled aside. I've got gold, which would work really well, and bring in some of that gold from the vellum. I have got turquoise, and nope, and I've got multicolored. Some of those could work. And then I've also got a light blue. Which is very picked over, so I'm not even sure I can spell anything. I've got no A's and no E's. Ooh, and I've also got these words. I wonder if any of these words would do. shine. I like that. All right, so the word shine, I don't think these are sticky, no. And with my gold letters, I can say shine on, shine bright. Can I spell bright? B-R-I-G-H-T. Shine bright. I think that works. Let's get my glue. Just commit. Okay, and then that gives me the beginning of a kind of color scheme for embellishments. So I've got the yellow. Yellow may not seem like an obvious choice because there's not like a huge amount. I mean, the photo is kind of yellowish, but yellow is the hornet's color because they're hornets. So it is relevant to me. Now, I do want to get some journaling in here, so let's figure out where this is going to go. What if I layer up these two? Yeah, that'll work. And now for finishing touches. So I've got these couple of chipboard hearts that matched the this guy. Title, right, that's what it's called. So I'm going to add some of those. And I brought out the pink ones and the yellow ones. So I'm just going to, I'm going to keep them down here for now anyways. And then I also have a sticker book. Maggie Holmes sticker book. This came out years ago. I managed to snag one for myself. It's got tons and tons of stickers in it. It's also got this whole sheet of gold foil hearts and stars. And since I've got those hearts already, I thought I would emphasize the hearts. Starting by covering up my natty little sketched heart. Okay. I'm trying to figure out what I want to put up here. And I might just leave it. I might actually come back with some more of that ink and sort of spritz it around. I'm just checking through the sticker book to make sure I haven't missed anything. There is some phrase stickers, but no, I think I'm gonna leave it there. And I am gonna come in with that ink. So let's just make myself a couple of little puddles again. Maybe do this one at a time. And I'm just going to squeeze some water out, load up my water brush pen, and just see if I can flick it. What I might need to do is drop it. Ooh, there we go. And now for the pink. And then this is gonna have to dry a fair bit. Big droplets on there. And I don't have a heat gun here. Because, you know, 2 offices, 2 craft spaces. Yeah, that's kind of fun. It's a bit different. Do I attempt to make this run a little bit? Maybe not. So I'm just gonna take my paper towel and just kind of just gently sort of soak up a lot of that moisture so we don't have such giant drops, and it will help. Yeah, it'll help spread it out a lot. Okay, I like that. I am going to call that done, and I know I didn't incorporate this extra bee, but I think I'm okay with that. I can always try and put that on something else later on in the album. That's a way of tying it all together. So yeah, so thank you for joining me. And if you ever want to try a cut file like this, I know Paige Evans has a lot of cut files with various stitching patterns on them. And they're a lot of fun. They are a little finicky, I will admit, but make sure you have plenty of thread on hand and you'll be fine. Okay. Yeah, thanks for joining me, and I'll see you again next week for another Make It Monday. Bye.